Prelude this morning is the second movement of Mozart's sonata, piano sonata in C major.
Thank you, Bruce. Good morning to everyone. Welcome to the Treasure Coast Unitarian Universalist Congregation in Stuart, Florida. Today is August the 9th, and my name is Janet Rader, and I'm your worship associate for today. Thank you to those who are helping out with this service. Bruce Ruby, our music director, Karen Frank, our Zoom host, Regina Wood, backup worship associate, and Karina Poloni, our backup Zoom host. We will mute everyone to avoid any noise in the background. Please remain muted. We are a welcoming congregation. We welcome people of all gender identities, races, ages, and backgrounds. Thank you for being with us today. We are holding Zoom services every Sunday at 11 a.m. and hope you can continue to join us. Announcements are found in our Friday online newsletter. To join our email list or to find out more information about our congregation, go to our website at tcuuc.org or visit our Facebook page. In the Friday newsletter, you will find a link to the Zoom service the following Sunday. While you are there, please notice our line for online giving. Checks are welcome also. You can mail your check to TCUUC at 21 Southeast Central Parkway, Stuart, Florida, 34997. Needless to say, our expenses are ongoing. We are happy today to welcome Rev Tracie Barrett as our minister. Rev Tracie lives in Winter Springs, Florida, and considers herself a UU evangelist, sharing the good news about our liberal faith. She has served as the student minister at Tri-UU for 3 years and is the consulting minister for the UU congregation of Lake County. Now she is the minister of ritual and liturgy for Soul Fire, an experiential, ever-expanding digital UU ministry focused on worship and retreat functions rooted in UU values. I will now light our chalice. Let's see if this is going to stay. Oh, I think it is. Okay. We light this chalice to find inner peace, love for each other, and faith in ourselves. Also to be welcoming to whomever we meet and kind to all living creatures. Rev Tracie will explore with us the topic of radical hospitality. Practicing radical hospitality opens up possibilities for interaction with different people, allowing for diverse experiences and an expanded creative interchange. And it's about meeting people where they are. It's about learning together. We are all works in progress. Radical hospitality is about putting our own assumptions up for examination. To me, this is the heart of Unitarian Universalism. No one claims to know the truth, but we know the way to get closer to the truth is to gather as a congregation and try to figure it out together. New people will bring new ideas. Different people will bring different ideas. We can either look at this as a threat or as a gift. Our constant challenge is to keep reminding ourselves that we are in a community with people who are not like us. To be radically hospitable is to have a congregational norm that is radically inclusive, not out of duty, but out of anticipation of how each new person will change us. May it be so. We will now sing filled with loving kindness. 3 verses.
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at peace. May I be whole. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at peace. May you be whole. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at peace. May we be whole.
Speaking the first verse and singing the second. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to see the truth in love, and to help one another. Now is our time to share joys and sorrows. Please raise your hand to share, and the host will unmute you to speak.
I have a meditation for us. I invite you to take a breath with me and prepare for a time of meditation. Please hear the words of Linda Susan Ulrich. Open up the doors. Push on the looming wooden arches embroidered with ironwork. Brace shoulders against the weight of history unmoved. Slough off the musty smell of unused joy and stored up sorrow. Knock rust off the hinges if you have to, and let your breath precede you inside. Open the doors more. Make room for a shaft of sunlight to cross the threshold. Give the dust motes something to dance about. Peek through a single slice of possibility and name even the half-hidden truths you see. Open the doors wider still. Pour yourself through the gap. Strut or sneak or sidle as suits you best. Cleanse whatever scrapes catch your skin and bind up the wounds that keep you from entering whole. Open the doors as far as they will go. Draw on the strength of the stones beneath you. Ground yourself in a firm sense of who you are. Stand as a beacon welcoming the next seeker and shine far beyond the lintel and sill. Open all that you are. Heighten and deepen your connections to the world around you. Broaden your definition of neighbor. Grow into the largest target for grace that you can muster, and pray to become a gateway for even greater love and compassion. Open up the doors, my friends, lest we keep the stranger out and condemn ourselves to prisons of our own making. And now let us be silent together.
All the servants of compassion, blowing the wind, rise in God's speed, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice, root of happiness. Bring fit me free, Spirit of night, come to me, come to me.
Our reading this morning is from our gray hymnal number 443, We Arrive Out of Many Singular Rooms by Kenneth L. Patton. We arrive out of many singular rooms, walking over the branching streets. We come to be assured that brothers and sisters surround us to restore their images on our eyes. We enlarge our voices in common speaking and singing. We try again that solitude found in the midst of those who with us seek their hidden reckonings. Our eyes reclaim the remembered faces, their voices stir the surrounding air. The warmth of their hands assures us in the gladness of our spoken names. This is the reason of cities, of homes, of assemblies in the houses of worship. It is good to be with one another. When we think about hospitality, we think about welcoming people to our homes, to our congregations, to our community. Now, in the time of COVID, that isn't happening in the physical sense, because it's important to keep everyone safe. For many Unitarian Universalist congregations, they have committees for hospitality. That's how important it is to the heart of the community. I contend that any hospitality committee or team is an important ministry of the church. It's how we greet people, how we welcome them to our spiritual home, and how we integrate them into the family. And we as Unitarian Universalists do a pretty good job with hospitality in person. Hospitality is one of the reasons you hear the same thing over and over again during the service. While you, dear members of this congregation, have heard them over and over again, you say them each week for your visitors who are experiencing this for the first time. That's hospitality. It's letting them know this is who we are, this is what we're doing, and this is why. And through all that, the underlying message is, you are welcome here. When I served in a parish, one of my favorite things to do was to sit in on the second orientation session for new members. It was during that time that they shared their journeys and what brought them to the congregation. And inevitably, the majority of new members said that they felt like they'd come home. And that's what makes them stay, that feeling of family, of connectedness. The paths to get here are always unique and different, and yet something brought them in the doors. My own path to Unitarian Universalism came from sitting in my first service and hearing elements of the service and the sermon that spoke to my soul and made my heart sing. It came from a well laid out and explained order of service that never made me worried or confused or fearful about what I would encounter. I felt safe, and feeling safe allows people to become vulnerable, and being vulnerable allows trust to build and connections to be made. I've heard this echoed throughout our association. People find their ways to us, to Unitarian Universalism, and for many of them, things that they needed and wanted clicked into place, and they feel like they've come home. Home. So that's what we strive for, right? To make a place that is welcoming and hospitable for all who enter our doors. Even now, with our doors being virtual and our space being little boxes on a screen, even here, hospitality is important, as visitors now are looking for somewhere they can connect with other humans in this time of social distancing. But what if we could do more? In their book, Radical Hospitality, Benedict's Way of Love, authors Lonnie Collins Pratt and Father Daniel Homan say this about hospitality. Hospitality did not begin with Howard Johnson's and Good Housekeeping. Hospitality, as it has been practiced from ancient days, protected people from the dangers of traveling alone. Isn't that the core of what we as a faith community should be? We come together to weather the storms of this world, to bind our wounds, to get fed both spiritually and physically, to gain strength to go out and survive another day. Hopefully, we're also telling others about this place, this respite, this home, and hopefully, we're also telling people that aren't the same as us. Pratt and Homan tell us in their book about pushing for something more than just hospitality. They talk about the idea of radical hospitality. Again, a quote from them. The phrase radical hospitality refers to the activities and desires that inspire individuals and communities to welcome those who are unlike themselves, rather than viewing any person in terms of how they benefit us. Radical hospitality means accepting the person with no thought of personal benefit. Instead of seeking persons who will support the congregation, actively seek persons who need the support of the congregation. To become hospitable means finding ways to welcome the marginalized, forgotten, and misunderstood among us. Radical hospitality means seeking people who need the support of the congregation, not just those who will support it. Now, don't mishear me. Obviously, we need people to support the congregation in both monetary and non-monetary ways. What I and the authors of this book are saying, though, is that if we are looking to extend radical hospitality, we shouldn't be looking just at what someone can contribute. It means looking for those who need us, who need our saving message of a liberal faith in this world, and especially in this community, especially now. It means looking for ways we can make them feel fully welcome when they come in, regardless of what they have to offer. Pratt and Homan continued, but radical hospitality calls us to search for the lost ones, those who have nothing to give us, but who instead need something from us. They may or may not be aware of what they have to give in return. Radical hospitality does not keep a ledger of what is given and what is received. That's really what it boils down to. That's the radical nature of it. To truly welcome in people who need us, even if we don't know if they can offer anything to us. Maybe they can, maybe they can't. What we need to focus on if we're going to truly practice a radical hospitality is that we are that safe refuge for those who need us. And I will tell you now, it will change you. It will change who you are, both individually and collectively. It has to. It will change the demographics of your congregation. It will affect your budget in either direction, and it will change how you do things. And that's scary. Change is scary, but change is necessary for growth. On the website ministrymatters.com, Robert Schnees says this about radical hospitality in churches. To become a vibrant, fruitful, growing congregation requires a change of attitudes, practices, and values. Good intentions are not enough. Too many churches want more young people as long as they act like old people, more newcomers as long as they act like old timers, more children as long as they are quiet as adults, more ethnic families as long as they act like the majority in the congregation. We can do better. It takes practicing radical hospitality and all the redirecting of energy and resources and volunteer time that comes with this. Church leaders can't keep doing things the way they have always done them. Little changes have big effects. Church leaders can't keep doing things the way they've always been done. If we want to extend radical hospitality, we need to realize we will need to change some things first. We can't wait until people come and then change. That's not radical hospitality. We need to think first of what we can do to extend that hospitality. So I want you to think about all the activities you offer here, both before the pandemic and now. And now put yourself in the position of someone who works full-time during the week. Do you feel welcome to this community outside of Sundays? How about a single parent with small children who aren't in school yet or are homeschooled? How about working parents who are juggling the gut-wrenching decision on whether or not to send their precious children back to face-to-face schooling? What about a high school student, a college student? What about a family with kids and both partners want to attend the same event? What about someone who may not be able to drive? What about someone who isn't well-versed in technology or is and can't access technology or the internet due to economic issues? If you want to grow, if you want to bring in more people, you have to think about doing things differently. Now that we're relying on video conferencing, how are we building community? How are we making sure that people feel welcome? How are we making sure they know about the events? How are we inviting in new people? Over the last few years in various conversations with various strangers, I've had the same question asked of me once they find out I'm a Unitarian Universalist minister. Well, the question after, what does that mean? That question is usually along these lines. That sounds really interesting, but I'm a Christian. Would I be welcome in your congregation? The answer should be yes. After all, we as a faith tradition came out of two different Christian denominations. The Bible is one of our sources. I know many Unitarian Universalist Christians, so yes, there is a place for them in our faith tradition. And I would hope there is a place for them in every congregation. Sometimes, though, what we say and how we are end up being two different things. So I am calling on us to think about how a Christian entering this congregation for the first time might feel. So how do we achieve this radical hospitality? Again, Pratt and Homan and the Benedict's way. Hospitality does not focus on the goal of being hospitable. It's not about the one offering hospitality. Instead, it is singularly focused on the object of hospitality, the stranger, the guest, the delightful other. One of the inherent problems with programs to develop radical hospitality is the focus on hospitality as a goal. Hospitality requires that our focus is on the other rather than the attainment of a concept. Well, yeah, that's great, Reverend Tracie, but how? Well, Pratt and Homan tell us that first, an inner reality awakening needs to happen as a group, as individuals. Those who wish to make their community more open to others must become convinced that it is necessary. It's not just a good idea, not just a fine program, but a water and breath kind of necessity. When the concept is spoken of, studied, and planned, there's a real danger of the whole process being unconvincing. People are not stupid, and they don't want to be the victim of your well-meaning but heartless hospitality. It means making sure that everything is ready before the guests arrive. In describing life at the monastery for the Benedictine monks, the authors describe how the monks sweep the floors, wash the windows, clean the bathrooms, and make the beds before guests arrive. Schedule cards and maps are placed on pillows, windows are opened for fresh air, and they are ready to answer any question that may arise. They don't wait until the visitors arrive and then ask them what they need. They anticipate what might be needed. Hospitality is more than training people to be nice to each other. And they go on to say, be nice and accept each other. Many faith communities painfully function as a dysfunctional family. Personality disorders and complex personal relationships are just unavoidable. But if you want to welcome others, your group will have to get over it, get past it, and find ways to actively forgive and accept each other before ever being capable of truly welcoming others. Heal thyself. Hospitality isn't about what your group needs, or its mission statement, or meeting your objectives. It is about serving the guest. Genuine hospitality will cause your group to stretch beyond themselves, and this too is healing. Accept each other, and your group will inherently become more accepting of others. Radical hospitality isn't easy, but in this hurting world, it's necessary. If we are truly living into our faith, if we are truly being who we say we are, then we will work hard to extend it. Growth requires change, and change is scary. But change and growth can be so fulfilling. I wonder where we would be in a year from now if we committed to extending radical hospitality to those in our communities around our congregations. I'd like to close with the following from Radical Hospitality. The table is a place where you connect and belong. It is a place where the past remains alive in the memory of the very old, and the future sparkles with possibility. It is enchanted. We lean close together. We share a glass. We tell a story. Through this simple human relating, the universe feels as though it is right again. We all have memories of tables prepared for us, and those we have readied for others. Some of the memories are from childhood, others are memories of good friends, of falling in love, or of deeply connecting with another human being. Meals are powerful symbols in our memory, but someone has to make the meal happen. Someone must consider it important enough to give themselves to the work that goes into preparation. Setting the table and making ready for a meal involves preliminary thought and consideration for others. To do it right, you have to think through your guests' preferences and history. You need to know if they have allergies or chronic illnesses. Preparing for another pulls us out of ourselves. That is one of the good gifts of hospitality. The image of preparing a table or preparing a place is a good overall image for hospitality. In genuine hospitality, we work to make our entire existence a welcoming table, a place prepared for others to be at ease, to receive from us comfort and strength. As we continue to navigate this new normal, may we be challenged to extend radical hospitality to all of those around us. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be. Our final hymn today is hymn number 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we draw some wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and tongue, and we see the faces in each eyes. Our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place. We are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place. When we tell our story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving heart, and we hear our voices in each other's words, when our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place. We are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place. When we share the silence of sacred space, and the calm of our hearts turns within, and we feel the power of another's faith. When our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place. We are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place.
Our closing words today are by Jean M. Rickard Rowe. We have a calling in this world. We are called to honor diversity, to respect differences with dignity, and to challenge those who would forbid it. We are the people of the wide path. Let us be wide in affection and go our way in peace.
I will now extinguish the candle, but as I do this, our hope for the future, our courage in the face of crisis, and our love for each other that we share will remain. Oops. We ask that you stay around and join us for coffee hour, and I believe Reverend Tracie is going to also join us and hopefully have some suggestions about radical hospitality. So we ask that everyone join us for coffee hour.
The postlude this morning is a short postlude, Chopin's Prelude in B major.